See, there's 4 people in there. 5, 6. What's up? This is my first time going live, so I've never tried this before. But I was like, we are doing cups, catching up on some work. So I have 48 tumblers that I need to do. And I figured I'd just turn on the camera, and anybody who wanted to watch me work or ask any questions about how I kind of set everything up, fire away. I'm doing 20 ounce tumblers on a logo on both sides, so that's all done in the laser. And then the customer also asked for some 10 ounce ones, so I'm doing those. These are the finished ones on both sides. So why can't you do cups? Thank you. So I don't know if you can see, but I have 2 lasers going. 90 watt 2x3 bed width. One. Crazy. Yeah, so anyway, I guess the setup is I recently got that second laser back there. That's another epilogue. And I wanted to primarily get it so I could do cups faster. Just doing like 1 cup at a time in my CO2 laser, which is right here. My other CO2 was kind of getting tired, and I was getting larger orders, so I got a second laser. And now this is actually my first time doing like a 50 cup run with running 2 lasers at the same time. It's actually kind of exciting for me because I'm watching my production time basically get cut in half, which is, but I can still charge, the same thing. That's right. That's right. So 2 lasers, 2 rotary tools, doing 2 cups at once, making more money, less time. So it's really cool to actually be running both of these lasers. Each cup takes, not like anybody asked me, but just if you're curious, each cup takes 4 minutes to do, and they are double-sided engravings. So that's 4 minutes to do 1 logo on one side, and then the program rotates the cup and does the logo on the other side. And that's 4 minutes. If I was just doing one side, each machine would take about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So in between running my mouth, I gotta keep switching these out, or I'm just wasting my time. So if I leave for a second, it's just to switch out a cup. Could someone tell me how I can look at the chat history, like if I missed a question? Because I don't, oh, maybe it's this little icon down here. Top chat, no. I don't know how to look back at the chats. Maybe I have to turn my phone sideways in landscape mode. I don't know. Here, I'll dismount the camera and I'll give you guys a better look at what's going on inside the machine. If you click the text box, it will expand. Oh. All right. Here. 10-ounce cup running in this machine. And then over here, I have the 20-ounce cups staged. Look at how fast this thing is. Look at this. Dude, that's real time. That's not sped up. These Epilogue laser engravers are so fast. It's ridiculous. I mean, look at that. It's like so, it's going so fast, like it's like a blur. I don't know if a lot of people have seen like how fast the Epilogues are compared to like standard other laser engraving units, but I just got this one, and this one is like ridiculous, like ridiculously fast. And this one, I thought when I got it, this is the older Epilogue, I thought when I got this one, this thing was fast. And then I got that one and I was like, good Lord. Anyway, yeah, and then here's what the job setup looks like on CorelDRAW. So I made a template, and with the two logos, and size here of this template is the height of the cup. And then I go over this in my drinkware video. I took the diameter of the cup and then times it by pi to get the full cup if it was rolled out on a flat surface. So that's what you're looking at, is like the cup if it was like rolled out flat. And then I put my logos using some rulers right where I wanted them on opposite sides. And then I send that over here, and that way it's going to engrave one logo on one side and another logo on the opposite side, exactly on the opposite side. And I have this one over here set up the same way, but it's a slightly taller cup, so the page looks a little different on this one. See, look at that. While I was running my mouth, these are already done. That's crazy. I'm gonna put this back up here. Is there anybody here who watches my channel or subscribes to the channel? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I can tell you do, Jay, for sure. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing and watching the channel. I appreciate that. I think I just wanted to go live to just kind of, you know, show people that like I have a regular day job, you know. Yeah, it is nice to work with cups without logos. Tell me, so I don't have to worry about lining up with the corporate logo. These JDS cups are great for that. I love being able to, I totally agree with that, 100%. But yeah, I just, I wanted to kind of just give you guys like a peek inside of like, you know, my day-to-day job, which is, yeah, JDS cups. JDS is a wholesaler of blank items to engrave. So you can sign up for a wholesale account if you have like a business, and you can apply for a wholesale account, and then you get access to all their products. They have not just cups, but they have like cutting boards and coasters and binders and basically a lot of cool stuff for engraving that's blank. So JDS, check it out. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but I've been using them for a long time. And their prices are fair, for sure, especially when you're doing like corporate gifts and wholesale and stuff. Their prices are pretty solid. Yeah, they do. They have quite a bit. Sometimes I order some stuff from JDS just because it's like new, and I'm like, ooh, I want to check that out. And then I realize that once I get it, I'm like, am I ever really gonna try to sell these online? So I have a lot of like old JDS stuff that I've never engraved or turned into a product. Seen a video where someone engraved multiple cups at once. Yeah, you know what? I have seen that. I've actually watched lots of videos on that, trying to like speed up the process. I guess that would kind of work, like you said, without cups without logos. It could work with cups with logos, but like, you know, lining up those logos perfectly and then making sure that not one of them slipped along the way. Like I take risks, you know, like I'm a risk taker, but I tried it out a few times and I found that without and I'm sure somebody probably makes like little couplers now, but it just kind of sketches me out, honestly, to do that, to like stack three and do three at a time with the fear that one might slip or something like that. Freaks me out. See ya. Yeah, multiple cup. I wish somebody would invent like a rotary tool that like fills up your whole bed and has like all these slots for cups that are kind of being done individually. I've always imagined that. Like I've literally had dreams about that, like a six-plex rotary tool. I know there's like a fiber laser. Like, well, there's the Jig, but with that Jig that they sell, like the All-Star rack, you have to lay your cups like flat like this. And if you've got a logo that goes past the extended focal point, you know, you're kind of limited. You're kind of limited to where you can do. But I've seen those jigs. I've thought about getting one just to try it out, but I worry about going outside the focal point. Oh, there's another one. That one's still going. So yeah, sometimes you gotta, you know, use my amateur skills in 3D printing to make a jig for our engraver at work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can totally get away with like putting a cup flat down and not having it in the rotary, as long as you get that focal point just right. Because usually, you know, with the rotary, you just have to focus here. But when you're using a flat jig, you've kind of got to take the total distance of your logo to make sure if you're doing a 3-inch logo, you've got to, instead of focusing here, you have to focus like halfway to the end of your logo. So think about it like that. If you're doing a flat jig, focus here, don't focus down here, focus like right halfway. And you should be able to get a pretty wide logo with a flat jig like that. Focal is important. Focus is important. You guys know that. So where are some of you from? What part of the country or state or wherever? Engraving on plastic cups. I ordered a sample pack from JDS that came out pretty good. Plastic cups? No. You talking about silicone? Daniel, you talking about silicone cups? The 2-layer silicone wraps around the cups? Or just straight solid plastic cups? Sounds kind of sketch. They released some plastic laser engravable cups last month. I did not see that. I'll have to go look at that. So they're pretty smoky, huh? So what's the benefit, I guess, of like the plastic laser engravable cups? Just they're cheaper and lighter? I'm gonna have to check those out tomorrow or something. I haven't seen those yet. So I don't know who it was. Someone just said that there's lots of smoke in there. I don't know if they're still here. Their fume extractor. Do you actually have a fume extractor, or do you just have an exhaust fan pumping outside? Just out of curiosity. And the cost right now is just a small project for giveaways, promotions. Okay. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. That kind of product for those reasons, that makes sense. Filter box, nice. That's a real fume extractor. And it's down at the moment. They sent us a loaner. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I have, fume extractors are great. My next video on the channel is going to be about fume extractors. So that's why I was asking. There's a little sneak peek into the next video. I'm going to talk about fume extractors and pluses and minuses and what they're good for and how people could benefit from them, stuff like that. I have 2 down here in my shop right now. Each one of these machines is hooked up to a fume extractor. and I'm not venting outside, and I'm laser engraving powder coated cups, talking to you guys, and I can't smell anything. Nothing. It's all getting. It's clean. Clean air. Still can't figure out how to look at the history of the comments. I wonder if I turn it this way. Oh, never mind. That didn't work. So if I click the little comment icon, chat viewing options, top chat, some messages. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's way better. Okay, I got it now. Nice. I'm in Georgia, north of Atlanta. Yeah, so it is kind of muggy and hot here right now, down in my shop. Thanks for the subscribe, Daniel. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm sure some people can relate to having to pull some late nighters to catch up on work between trying to make YouTube videos. You do hats too. I don't necessarily do hats. What I do is I laser engrave patches for people that make hats. Do I have a hat press? Yes. Can I make the hat? Yes, but I prefer to just do the patches. So I'll make leather patches, or I can do wood patches for hats, and then I just ship them to the apparel people that are making the hats and let them apply it. I find that's better for me. I'm not really into making hats. I know how to make hats. I just didn't really cut the mustard for me. But laser engraving a bunch of patches in bulk for someone and putting them in the mail and sending them to their shop, that works for me. I'm okay with that. You know what, that's a great question. So I'll go over that. I was definitely going to talk about that in my upcoming video. You do have to change the filters, but it's not as often as you think, and it's also based on the volume of work you're doing and the type of things that you're cutting and engraving. So because I do not just one thing, like just wood, or just cups, or just cutting acrylic, I'm kind of like all over the place. I actually only have to swap my filters out like about once, 1.5 times a year. So it's really not that bad. And for the BOFA fume extractor, those filters are expensive. I think combined, if I have to replace both of them, it costs me $900 a year, every year, to replace those filters. And the other one's like half the cost because it's a little bit smaller. So it's a yearly cost, but man, it's just a part of doing business. Just account for that. Yeah, Lake Allatoona is great. I actually fish on that lake a lot. When I do have free time, I like to go fishing. I'm a fishing nerd. Yeah, crazy thunderstorms here, for sure. Yeah, we're probably gonna get a good one tonight, but yeah, I do like the thunderstorms here. Except when they like blow trees down in my driveway or on my car. That's not fun, but other than that, they're pretty intense, for sure. One of the things, what about Velcro? Hold on. Did you try to engrave a lure? Oh. I have engraved lures. In fact, I'll show you something. Hold on a second, if you're still there. Yeah, have I engraved with it? Yeah. So I've actually made a fishing lure with my laser engraver from scratch. I'll go get it for you. It's my first one, but hold on. I love that somebody asked me about if I've engraved a lure. So I was actually going to do a whole video on how to make these because it actually is pretty fun to make. There was a lot of steps involved. But here it is. I don't know if you can see it. So the lighting is like horrible. I don't know if that helps at all. But if you look really close, you can see that I actually engraved the scales to give it like texture. And the eyeball, I engraved away the eyeball so I could set a plastic eye in. And I put all the scales and the fins are 3D engraved. And then I did airbrush painting and epoxy coating. I went nuts on this thing. But the coolest part was actually engraving the scales and making it look like as realistic as possible. And I just did that by grabbing a picture off the internet and then superimposing it on top of the type of wood I used for the lure and engraving. What I did was I took 2 halves of 1/4 inch wood and I engraved, these are actually 2 halves. You can't tell anymore, right? Because I smoothed them and glued them together, but these are actually 2 halves. And then I engraved each side and then I glued them together and then I went back and sanded it to make it, yeah, that's a crankbait, that's right. And then I sanded them together and tried to make it look like, you know, so you couldn't see the seam anymore. My first lure, not too shabby. That was definitely a fun project. Lots of stuff. Velcro on the hat patches, no. Or are you asking, can you cut Velcro with a laser? it's still going. Thanks. So let's see, what's the, any tips for Sarah marking? Yeah, I got some tips for Sarah marking. I have a whole video on it. Drinking water, good. I know who that is. I think my wife has bombed in on the chat. My wife's saying good drinking water. Sarah marking. Okay, so yes, I have a whole video on how to use a Ceramark type spray on my channel. It's Brilliance Laser Ink, which is a similar product. So, you know, some of the tips I can tell you is that for Ceramark, because I have used Ceramark, I actually have some right over here, less is more. You don't need to cake it on until you can't see the metal underneath anymore, and that goes for any kind of laser marking spray. I used to put it on really thick when I started, and I found out as I experimented over time, you really don't need that much. You just need it to be an even coating, and if you can and it's not too much time, you should always clean the surface of the steel that you're about to spray onto. Just try to clean the surface off for sure. I like to use Brilliance Laser Ink just because it's a little bit more affordable, and I find that it does just as good a job as Ceramark. I talk about that in my other video too. For sure. No problem, Daniel. I do engrave brass, but K4, but it can't be done. You can engrave brass with Brilliance Laser Ink or Ceramark. You can do it, but you need a lot of wattage. I'm not sure what your wattage is, and hi Jay. You just need a lot of wattage, and you need to run pretty slow, especially with the K40. I'm not sure if a K40 is going to be able to do brass, but in the video on my channel about engraving all kinds of metals, you can see me actually do aluminum, brass, copper, and steel. So it is possible, but you do have to have some wattage to deal with those metals. Like copper and brass, for sure. You got to have some power. I work for a metal nameplate company and just got a laser engraver not long ago. Yeah, CO2 lasers can definitely knock off the anodizing for sure, off of anodized aluminum, and put a good mark on it for sure. They won't be able to get any depth. You need a fiber laser for that. But yeah, if you're just marking anodized aluminum, CO2 lasers can knock away that anodizing, no problem. Oh, well then there you go. Yeah, if you've got the dual source fiber CO2, then you might be able to get a little bit of depth with that, with the fiber part. Nice. Yeah, I know there's like a whole there's a whole cult out there of the K40 users and mods. I've seen some of the videos where people have done some crazy stuff with K40s, for sure. Constantly upgrading them with new parts and 3D printing add-ons, and it's pretty cool. What's up, Paul? Here we go. Oh yeah, color mapping's pretty cool. Um, Definitely go crazy with color mapping in the Epilogue, or I think a lot of other software for CO2 lasers. You can do color mapping and assign those colors to different speeds and settings and get some pretty neat results. One of the things I always thought was cool with Epilogue was, and probably for most lasers, is if you convert an image with colors to grayscale, just gray shades, you can just throw that in the machine, and the Epilogue will treat each one of those gray scales as like a different power level. So you can kind of get some kind of 3D-ish type effect. I'm not talking about those real 3D files that you can get, but like you convert something into just grays. The Epilogue kind of sees those RGB grays as like different settings. So you get, the darker it is, the deeper it goes. The lighter the gray, the lighter it goes. How do you determine timing for, do you have some advice on how to calculate price for jobs? Let's see, pricing for jobs. See that engraving bottles is pretty quick. Yeah, so that is a good point. So eventually you kind of figure out after doing this for a while, you know, what you need, what your hourly rate is. You know, like this could be a really long conversation, but you want to figure out what your hourly rate is, what you need to make a living based on your skill, your your profession, your ability, your knowledge. And then once you have like your idea of what your hourly rate needs to be for you to be comfortable doing what you're doing, that number will help you extrapolate what you need to charge per item going down the road, whatever that is. And for me, that works most of the time. Have I bit myself in the butt a few times and undercharged for jobs? Yes, for sure. I've definitely made some mistakes. But I mean, once I landed on what I need to make per hour for me, that helps me break down what my costs are. I know how much these cups are going to take per unit, so that's a number that I use into that, and I can take, my machines are extremely fast, so you also need to consider if your machine isn't as fast as like the top level machines, how long is each cup going to take? I had a Boss laser for a while just to do a large job. I got this job for like 1,500 champagne glasses, and I only had one laser, and I just needed something to help me do that job. And there was a Boss laser that was online, and I had never used a Boss laser before. I had only worked with epilogues. So when I got the Boss laser here to help me do the job, and it really wasn't that expensive because it was used, I was blown away by how long each champagne glass took to do based on my other epilogue machine. And I kind of was like, wow, I'm not sure if I'm saving money here. So my point is that like you need to take into consideration how fast your machine can do each one of these cups, in addition to that number of what you think you are worth per hour. Yeah, once you have that number, I'm going to take you care of also. That's right. Once you have that number of what you are worth and what your ability and your skill and what you do professionally, hold to it. Don't budge on it. Even if every week I have some jobs that my price was too expensive or wasn't what they were looking for. I don't have a lot, but I do have them every month. And that's okay, because I've learned to hold firm on my pricing because I know my worth. So know your worth. I know it sounds kind of corny, but it makes it's really important, because I don't want to be here, miserable, feeling like it's not a two-way street where I'm giving my service, but I don't feel like I'm getting compensated well. So, find out what that number is, hold yourself to it, and there's always another job around the corner. Minutes. Wow, we've been live for 45 minutes. This is pretty cool. Here, I'll dismount for a second. Show a little close up of the machines. Here we go. So this is the Epilogue M2 Fusion going right now. It's doing the 10 ounces. Yeah. So did you see it just finished the one side and now it's rotating to go over to the other side? And then this one, stupid fast over here. Oh, look, it just finished. It's so fast that by the time I walked over here, it was done. Here, let's get another one. Let's get it out. I'll put this down for a second. Yeah, I am blown away. I am blown away by this little machine here from Epilogue, the Edge. It's so fast. Look at that. I can't get over it. Every time I walk over, I'm just like, what is this thing doing? How does it even... Yeah, but I mean, you get what you pay for, right? So you get up into these higher end machines, you're paying a lot up front, but this is the kind of stuff that you're getting when you have the high-end machines. You're getting speed, the ability to do things 10 times as fast as all the other machines, which time is money, folks. Time is money. So this is what we've been doing while we've been chatting, right? 45 minutes. Been doing 10 ounce and 20 ounce. And then I've got all the, I had to take them all out of the package. So I got the boxes. And what I like to do when I'm unboxing these, and I was gonna share this in my drinkware video, but it was just too dang long already. What I like to do is I like to unbox all the cups, take the lids off, and I put the lids over here. I don't know if anybody else does that. So I take all the lids and I just put them in a separate box. That way I'm literally like, pull it out, pop the lid off, stage it right here, right next to the laser. So it's really close to the laser. So these haven't been done and I can just reach over, right? And the same thing here, I staged all the 20 ounces really close right here so I could just kind of go back and forth. So, let's see. I gotta switch cups out real quick. Oh, engraved a navy cup just fine and switched to an orange cup. You know, that could have been, here, hold on a second. The navy cup, did a navy cup and then switched to an orange cup and it came out. So that could have been a few things that happened. That could have been factory. You know, sometimes they put different colors on thicker than the last. I've seen, I've gotten Yetis where the first 6 were really thin layer of powder coat, and then the last 3 I did were thicker, like someone just went crazy with the powder coat at the factory. I've definitely seen that with many different brands. So what you want to do is try to find a laser setting that will go through the thickest powder coat imaginable and always use that setting. That way you're always set up to blast through thick, chunky, powder coated cups. So if you get thin ones, it doesn't matter. You know you're going through it. And if you get the thickest one, you'll never have an issue. That's what I think happened there, is probably just the thickness of the powder coating switched between the orange and the navy. you try to engrave or cut carbon parts? Carbon fiber? Oh yeah, no. 100% no. You should not be cutting carbon fiber in a CO2 laser. That is one of the banned items, unless you're like, I guess in some industrial place where you don't care about your laser, because that carbon fiber is gonna off-gas a bunch of chlorine gas and a bunch of other nasty stuff that is toxic, but also the fumes will destroy the metal parts of the inside of your laser. Any kind of chlorine vapor or gas will so yeah, I've been asked to cut carbon fiber sheets before. Unfortunately, it's on my do not cut list. Anything that off-gases chlorine, you don't want to laser cut. I don't know what tell me what biothane is. Sorry, I'm not sure what that is. Guess I could Google it, but I could just ask you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so PVC, ABS, carbon fiber, most of the time those are on the do not engrave, do not cut list. And it's not, I don't even think that it's not that the laser can't cut it or can engrave it, it's that gas that gets released. So like I said, if it could rust the inside of the parts of your laser from that gas. So I'm not an expert on that, but I definitely have researched enough of those materials to know in forums and stuff over and over and over. People with more knowledge than me have advised to stay away from those materials, if at all possible. Do you think that chlorine is from the air? I'm not sure. You know what? There is a really old video out there. I don't know if it's on YouTube or if it's on like Vimeo or whatever that platform is. But there's if you YouTube how to detect chlorine gas in plastic, this guy is in his shop and he basically uses a piece of copper wire, and he heats it up with a blowtorch, and then he dabs it on the piece of plastic that he wants to know if it has chlorine in it, and he gets a little melted piece off of it, and then once the melted piece of plastic is on the piece of copper, he takes it back over to the blowtorch, and if it lights up orange and it vaporizes orange, it doesn't have chlorine in it. But as soon as he went to like PVC and other stuff, he took that dab of melted plastic, put it back in the torch on that copper wire, and it just flamed green. So look up a video on how to detect chlorine in plastics, and I bet you'll find it. It's a pretty old video, but it's out there. Kind of old school way, but that would be a way you could check if there's chlorine in the polymer or the plastic you're wanting to engrave. Yeah, no problem. All right, so the 20-ounce cups are done. These guys. Why we've been sitting here talking. I have 5 more of the 10 ounce. But you know, I'm not done yet. I still have to clean all these off, which I talked about in my drinkware video. So I still have to go and clean these all off with some LA Totally Awesome over at the sink, and then dry them, and then put them back in the case, and then they're ready to go to the customer. So not quite done. This is just the engraving part. So far we've done the unpacking, the setup, set both of the machines up, made the template to do the double-sided logo, and now we're almost done with the engraving. So about an hour to do 2 cases so far, but I probably have another half hour of cleaning off with the degreaser, the LA's Totally Awesome degreaser, and then drying off each cup, putting it back in the pack, put the lid on, put it back in the packaging, and that'll probably take me like another half hour. Yeah, you gotta do, you can make all kinds of, it is amazing the stuff that you can create with laser cutters and engravers. You just gotta, I've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, making a fishing lure, that was a pretty crazy one for me, but that wasn't, you know, the engraver was just part of the process of making a fishing lure. I had like a little miniature belt sander, an airbrush, some fishing lure parts. You know, like there was a lot of pieces that went into like making that. But I would say cutting the 2 sides of the lure and engraving the 3D fish on each side of the lure, that was probably the funnest part for me. Ooh. Yeah. I was thinking about making some giant, huge. All right, bud. Gotta go. Yeah. Cool, dude. See you, Daniel. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate that. Save a little power there. Turned off the old second epilogue back there. air filter that go? No. So let's see. Do you have some air filter that goes that on that exhaust pipe so it's free to go outside? So yeah, we talked about that a little earlier. I have a fume extractor, so it doesn't have to vent outside. So this is the fume extractor that I use, and it's showing me what setting it's on right now, and those are the two how much of the filters have been used. There's multi-stage filters in there, and this machine has a dual exhaust, so it has two ports, two sides for the exhaust, and then it goes out there and it goes into the fume extractor down there, and then this little thing broke off. This doesn't actually go outside, it just blows out right here. So what comes out is clean air, so I don't have to vent outside, because I work from home and I am laser cutting and engraving all kinds of stuff throughout the week, and I have neighbors. I'm in a residential area, and I don't want to be pumping the smell of burning leather and acrylic outside into my neighbor's property, because it really stinks really bad. And if I was in an industrial area, like a commercial space, and I could like vent up top and out the roof, and that would be different. But since I'm in a residential area, I decided to go with fume extraction so I didn't have to vent and pump all that stuff outside. You can also whisk back into your windows if you have windows on your house that are near where it exhausts outside. Some of those vapors can creep back into the house, and I didn't want that to be happening either. They are a little loud, not gonna lie, when they're both running. But right now I have it turned down pretty low because I'm just doing powder coated cups. Yeah, the K40, that's a good learner. You can get your feet wet with that. Printing studio, sign maker, this is my first laser. Yeah, the K40 is good for that. It's one of those ones you can kind of get your feet wet using that and just kind of try it out. I don't know much about those units, but I've watched some videos of those. They're good for some smaller projects and stuff. Let's see, where is my water bottle? I don't know. Oh, the water bottle. I'm gonna go fill this up and get some water real quick. So does your K40 have any, does your K40 have rotary in it? Shape maker. The AT, what is that unit? Is that a diode laser or is that a CO2 laser? The A350T snap maker, or is that the like the snap maker kind of system where you can put different heads on it? Like you can put a diode laser on it, you can put a drill head on it. Is that one of those? I'm gonna have to Google that. A350T. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I see your unit. Yeah, it's a 3-in-1. I'm looking at it right now. The thing's crazy. 3-in-1 3D printer. So you can do 3D printing, you do CNC stuff, or you can put a little diode head on there. That's cool, man. If I was like a maker or something like that, like I guess I am a maker, but you know, I only kind of work in the 2D plane. You know, with laser engraving, to really get into the 3D much. But it seems like a cool unit for sure. I've always wanted to get into 3D and 3D modeling and all that stuff. I want to get into everything. Honestly, my wife tells me I'm ADD all the time because I'm just so interested in like all the technologies and every little piece of tech and industry and production industry. I want to know it all. But there's only so much time in the week. I gotta pick and choose what I focus all my energy on. It's a simple machine. Nice. Yeah, so higher wattage with any kind of laser usually gets you what you're actually buying is a couple of things. You're getting the ability to cut through thicker material, and you're also basically should be the higher the wattage, the faster you'll be able to run the job. That's pretty much whenever you increase wattage on these machines, you should be able to run the job faster, and which gets you more money. Permanent upgrade. Oh, permanent upgrade rotary engraving unit. Yeah. If you do a lot of cylindrical stuff, that makes do a lot of cylindrical stuff and you're constantly using the rotary, that makes sense for sure. Wow, it's almost 10. Let's see, what do I got here? 1, 2, 3 left. 3 left, and then I'll probably clean these off tomorrow. I don't know if I have it in me to sit at the sink and clean all these off tonight. I need some couch time, some Netflix, and chill time with the wife. 40 watt is okay for glass and bottles. Right? Yeah. For sure. Yeah, 40 watts, you can definitely do glass and bottles and stuff like that, for sure. You got to have a certain amount of wattage. I think 30 is probably, I don't know if they go any lower than that for etching glass and stuff. There's workarounds. I've seen some people with diode lasers, you know, doing workarounds. You know, I think I saw someone like put like black Sharpie or something on glass to be able to etch it with a diode laser or something. CO2s don't have that issue because of the wavelength of light. Yeah, diode lasers are a trip. I kind of view them as a product that was invented, and it's allowed people to kind of just enter the world of laser engraving and cutting and just kind of see if that's something that they want to get into, or if it's useful to them, or it makes sense for them, or if they want to make a whole business out of it, or if they just needed something in their shop because it's another tool that they need to do some other big project that isn't really laser engraving as a business, but maybe they're making, or they have a little Etsy shop, or they like to make models and they just needed a small laser engraver, didn't need to get big old powerful fast one. I think it opened up the door for a lot of people, that the diode laser armada, the wave that has been going around of all those little portable diode lasers. They serve a purpose, for sure. So I know there's only, it looks like there's only like 3 people on right now, but whoever's on is, do you guys subscribe and follow my channel, or is this your first time kind of finding this? Oh, I want to make a video on that lure so bad. Yeah, I've been talking about it for days. Cool. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, this is my first time going live. I've never actually done that. I've never actually gone live before. I was just like, I just did a huge video on drinkware, and I'm like, what am I doing right now tonight? I'm doing drinkware. I'm doing cups. So I was like, what if I just put the camera on and put it in my shop and let people watch me do 48 cups, you know, tumblers, the way I always do them. So, and then chat with you guys in between the cups. So it's pretty cool. I've never actually done live before. Nice. Yeah, I only use yeah, I just wanted to kind of give a peek into the world of what I do outside of making videos as a business. It's definitely a lot. I have to go back there. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you know, sometimes it can get, you know, monotonous, you know, laser engraving cups, but, you know, uh, this has definitely been more interesting than just doing a couple cases of cups, talking to you guys, so thanks for tuning in. For sure. Oh, one coming off the burner. Oh, not yet. It was just flipping sides. This is the last cup going in next. Last blank cup. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good weekend too. Oh yeah, no. Definitely cups are definitely a huge part of my business. I'm just saying it's can be kind of boring sometimes compared to the other stuff that I engrave. No. Laser engraving cups is definitely a huge part of my business. It fills in the gaps. You can make really good money doing cups. You're absolutely right. Um, I just like engraving other stuff. Production, you know, production work rather than production work. I guess I like doing one-offs for people, you know, like a little bit more creative stuff. Let's see, where's something else I can grab? Oh yeah, okay, so here, did this earlier. Some guy is taking somebody out on some Bigfoot expedition. That's right, Yeti expedition. I'm not sure if I'm a true believer or not, but these guys are, because they're literally going on an expedition. I did that one on my fiber laser. Actually, that's not Ceramark or Brilliance. That's actually fiber laser, annealed. Something about, oh, I hand draw custom maps and sell gift shops, doing the maps for different towns, cities. Yes, the maps, that's awesome. That's such a good idea. I've seen some really cool custom maps, like per city and stuff. That sounds cool and creative, for sure. So do you like hand draw the custom map, like based on the city's map, but kind of add your own flavor to it? these here. Nice. Icons. That's cool. Nice. That sounds definitely super creative and awesome. Customizing those maps like that. This is the last cup of the evening, folks. So I think it is almost time for us to call it. But I definitely want to say thank you to anybody still watching. I know there were other people on earlier, but thank you for watching, and maybe we'll do this again next time I have some production work where I can set up the tripod and we can talk shop and talk about laser engraving and all the stuff we talked about. Everybody have a good weekend, okay? Cool. Yeah, we'll have to definitely do this again. See you guys. Good night.